It is Sierra Taylor here for Creative Cake Art, and we are fixing it up on a Friday. Yeah. And although Friday for us is kind of like Monday, right? But that's okay. This is very good what we have here. So this is actually sort of a Tuesday tidbit tutorial that we have on our Little Bits. But I get so many questions about it that I wanted to do something similar for you guys on the Fix It Friday. So we're gonna just show you how to make your chocolate covered Oreo for yourself or your client in virtually any possible shape that they could want. But today I thought it would be cute because I just got these Hello Kitty cookie cutters to do a cookie Hello Kitty chocolate covered Oreo. I cannot, like, a cookie, a chocolate, okay, too many things. I have the cutter here. I will put a link so that you know, or put just the name so that you know where I got it from. But literally I just Googled Hello Kitty on Amazon. And it brings up, or Hello Kitty cookie cutters rather, and it brings up a lot of different ones. This came in a 2-pack with like the full body and then just the head. So today we're doing just the head. And then I have this really cute bow cutter. I mean, not bow cutter, but bomo that I got from Amazon as well. It's so great. It has all different kind of bows, and it has one that looks very similar to Hello Kitty. You could also do the bow by hand, but we're going to use this mold today, just especially if you're doing a lot of these. I tend to like to do these really small bows by hand, but when you're doing that, it's kind of hard to get the uniformity that you want. And the great thing about like having a row or a bunch of like chocolate covered Oreos is that they all look exactly alike. So if your bows all look different, it's not as good. So let's use the mold for that one. And then I just have one Oreo because that's all that fits in here. Now, if you could fit 2 Oreos in, like with the onesie from the Tuesday tidbit, then you would put 2 Oreos in. But for here, we're just going to do the one, okay? So I have that. I have a spatula, and I have my Oreo. So we're just going to go ahead. Oh, and this seal pad. So you want to, or seal mat, this is Artisan Metalworks. I never know if it's seal pad or seal mat. I'm going to find that out just so I can actually use the right term for it. Okay, so you have that. It's just a non-stick mat. You can also use wax paper or parchment paper if you like. Okay, if you don't want to buy one of these. So just go ahead and put your cookie cutter there. And then you're going to take your melted candy melter, white chocolate, and fill it up about half of the way. All right, and then you're going to take your cookie and just push it almost to the bottom. You don't want it to come through the bottom, so don't push it all the way down, but just pat it in there. All right, and then you can either fill this cookie cutter up all the way, or you could just fill it up till it covers the Oreo. If you don't want so much candy melt, like it could get kind of hard for people to bite into. So if your cookie cutter is rather thick, which I feel like this is similar to a regular chocolate covered Oreo, like a round mold, but just because I feel like they can get a little thick, I'm probably not going to fill this up to the top, okay? I'm just going to cover my chocolate covered Oreo, but you can do it either way you like. Okay, so then you just go in and make sure that that gets covered. Okay, and that's almost to the top, but I'm kind of just going to stop there and spread it around to make sure that everything is even. Kind of tap it, make sure it settles a bit. Okay, and if you had filled this all the way to the top, then you can just scrape it off, okay, to make sure that it's even. It's a little bit more difficult to get it even if you don't fill it to the top. And the cookie kind of wants to float as well, so make sure that that stays down. Okay, now we just want to go put this in the freezer or in the refrigerator for about 5 minutes until it sets up and gets hard. I'm going to show you how to unmold it and then just put our little pieces on to make it Hello Kitty. So, all right, y'all, we are back and we got our Hello Kitty out of the freezer. It's all set up, so we just want to take it now. Oh, and I forgot to tell you this. You want to have something. I have just this cardboard underneath my mat, because if you pick your mat up, like, it's flimsy, so you don't want things to start shifting around. So you want to have something to keep that stable when you put it in the freezer. When it's done, you can obviously take it off, but so you want to just take that off. Comes off so simply, and then start to, like, you can either take a blade or you can do it with your finger, but if you want to be really precise, just take a little blade and cut that excess off. Rubbing it off with your finger works because it's so cold, so it'll come right off for the most part. Okay. I also put a little more of the candy melts into my cookie cutter because my Oreo kept trying to like float to the top, which was going to make it uneven when I flipped it over. So I put a little more and kind of pushed the Oreo down to let some of the air bubbles up, because the air is what pushes that Oreo to the top, just to make sure that it can sit pretty flush with your surface when you're done, okay? So you just want to loosen that up and then push it out. And that should come out fairly easy. And there, see, you have your Hello Kitty shape. Perfect. All right, so now let us move this to the side because we are going to put the rest of our stuff on. I mentioned that I had the bow mold, which is here, okay, and I just have a little water so that I can stick everything on, all right? So in order to do the rest of the parts, you know, Hello Kitty is so simple, but if you need to use her, and you probably should use her picture as a frame of reference. I have one here with my other cutter that came in the pack. So I'm just using this to make sure that I have her eyes proportional to her nose, proportional to the bow, proportional to her whiskers, so that she actually looks like Hello Kitty. I mean, she's going to look like it anyway, but you want to get your proportions as well as you can so that, you know, she's very recognizable. Now, what am I trying to do? Okay, so first thing we need to make is just take a little, we want to take a little black fondant. So I have a little piece of black and then a little thing of yellow here, and then you also are going to need a little bit of red. So you just a very tiny bit, like it's not, you know, a big deal if you don't have a big hink of it, because you only need a really little bit. Now you could cover this with a white piece of fondant and just cut with your cookie cutter the white piece of fondant, just to make sure that, you know, anything that's here that you didn't like, or make sure it's even. But I don't think that we need to do that, only because our base is white and there's really no reason why we need the fondant. A lot of people don't even like to eat fondant. So to keep your chocolate covered Oreo tasting really good and very palatable and not have to worry about what the fondant tastes like, if you don't need to add it, I don't recommend adding it. So we're just going to do the facial features. Okay, so I have a number 8 cutter. So we're going to use a number 8 cutter for her eyes. All right, so you just want to take a piece of fondant. This is quite crumbly because it's so dry. So I have to like do it over the sink. Okay, so take a little black piece of fondant and then a rolling pin, and you can just roll that out. As I mentioned, this is really super dry, but because the pieces that we're doing are so little, it doesn't really matter. All right, so just take your tip and you're going to cut out your 2 eyes, and you can get that out several ways, but probably you could just use something to push it out. And then do your other piece. Okay, those are your 2 eyes. And then for your whiskers, we'll do that in a second. So let's set that to the side. Now, for your eyes, they're fairly round. We don't want them to be this round. We want them to have a little bit of an oval shape, because if you notice on Hello Kitty, she has sort of an oval shaped eyeball. All right, so then we just want to squeeze it into an oval shape and kind of flatten it out a little bit, okay? Make sure it's not jagged on the edges. So see that? Then you kind of get that oval shape there, okay? So set that and then do the same thing with your other one. So see, it starts off very round because of your tip. You can also do this freehand. You don't necessarily need to use a tip. I'm just showing you how to get it more uniform. Okay? Again, got your oval shape. All right, now you can, while you have your black out, let me try to find a piece that isn't as crumbly. Okay, you want to roll this out pretty thin. I don't know why, like, I do know why this is so crumbly, but like, I literally thought that I had some black fondant and then all of it was like so super dry, so I had to throw it all out, and I was like, oh, I can use this one little tiny piece is all I need. But this is still like super crumbly, but I guess I'm gonna make it work. Okay. So then in order to cut your whiskers, you just wanna roll out that piece and then just use like a blade or some type of a straight edge. And you wanna do 3 cuts. So there's 1, and then you're gonna do 2, and then a 3rd one, okay? And then that kind of came off, but then you want to just cut those down so that they're all even. So essentially you want 3 strips, okay? These could stand to be a little longer, but you get the point. So you want the 3 strips, and then you want to cut the 3 strips in half. All right, so she has 3 whiskers on each side. So this is 3, okay? And then you can kind of take them and like shape them up and round them out a little bit. Okay, so there's 1. Again, just kind of pinch the ends in so they're a little bit more round like hers are. So you see that? Just round them out a bit. By pinching and pushing in. Okay, so there are 3 whiskers. Okay, and then the last step, oh no, I'm sorry, that was just the second one. So now we need to do her bow and her nose. I don't even need to, like, literally, I'm throwing this away because it's useless, like, for real. Okay, make sure you have no black left over on your hands. And then you want to take your yellow, and this is really simple. Just roll it out a bit. Take your number 8 round tip, make the cut, and then again, it's going to be a circle, but you want to make it into a bit of an oval. Okay, so you just take that and make it into an oval, a little bit smaller than her eyeballs. All right, there's that, and then you're going to set that to the side. And last, you want to take your bow mold, and we're going to use the Hello Kitty looking one. Put a little powdered sugar in there so that it doesn't stick. And then just take your red fondant and push it down into there. Now it will kind of stick to your hand, so you need to put a little on the outside. Push it in there. And then when it comes out, it'll be the bow that you need, but you just want to cut around it, okay? So take your blade and just cut the excess fondant off. And then kind of round out any jagged edges, push them in. All right, and there's your bow. Very, very, very similar to Hello Kitty. Okay? Did you see that? Sorry, I'm like... okay. wanted to measure everything up to her face. Her bow was a little bit short, so I just went ahead and pushed it out a little bit with my fingers, you see. I just want it to be just as big as her regular bow. And actually, just to make those little indentations like she has on her bow, I'm just going to take my number 8 tip and I'm just doing like a half circle cut into the bow. Right on the edges, just like hers. Or right in the middle there, rather. Okay? And I made her bow a little bit bigger. So it seems like my cookie cutter, so we did it this way. Wait. No, I definitely did it. It's definitely backwards for some reason. Let me think about this. I may have actually put the Oreo in backwards because honestly, like, it should be this way. So don't make that same mistake. Put your Oreo in the right way so that her bow is on the right side, because this should be sticking out over here because that's where the edge of the bow like kind of goes right here. But I did my cookie backwards, so essentially what it would be like is this side, if you get what I'm saying. So I think I can't remember. What I think I did was that I put the cookie cutter down this way instead of putting it down with the rounded edge up. All right, so just FYI, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do it again, but just for when you do it, make sure that you put the cookie cutter the right way, because her head is kind of weird, but whatever. What you could do to rectify that problem, I'm just thinking, is just take a blade and like cut off that excess chocolate. So let's see if that works. I just want to shave it down a little bit. Okay. That works pretty well, and then you can just even take your finger and smooth it out, or a hot paper towel and smooth it out. And if you want to like round out her face even, that would be good. You can do. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this side down. Again, you can avoid all this by actually putting the cookie cutter on the right way. But if you happen to make a mistake like this, don't worry about it, because you can totally just shave everything down. Okay guys, there you have it. Hello Kitty chocolate covered Oreo. She's so cute. Alright, this is going to be awesome to be able to offer to your clients and to have on a sweet table for a Hello Kitty theme party. I actually thought of this too because my daughter, like, immediately after her birthday, she's like planning her next birthday. So even though she's not 4 for like another, she's not going to turn 5 until like another 7 months, but she knows, believe me, she knows that she wants a Hello Kitty party. So I probably will end up doing some of these for her birthday actually. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this Fix It Friday. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, please leave them below. And especially if you have any fix-it questions and you need help with some cake thing, or you want to know how to do some cake thing, please do leave them in the comments below. Or you can inbox me, you can send me on the Cakespiration, send me a message about it. You can also contact us on our Instagram page at Cake College, and we will be happy to answer and to make a video answer for you each and every Friday. All right, guys, enjoy your Friday. Holla. Let me look it over here. My daughter.